footprinting methodology. In this, we'll see this tracking email communication. Now, attacker tracks email to gather information about the physical location of an individual to perform social engineering that in turn may help in mapping target organization's network. So, email tracking is a method to monitor and spy on the delivered emails to the intended recipient. So, when the email was received and read, GPS locations and map of the recipient, time spent on reading the mail, then whether or not the recipient visited any links sent to them, then track the PDFs and the other types of attachments, set messages to expire after a specified time. So hacker wants to do what? It wants to track the email communication of the target so that it can see that how long it is taking to see the mail, whether it is received or read, when it is getting received and read. Some users have a habit to read in a particular time. Then GPS location of those email the recipient, then whether they are seeing or clicking on some links or they are not clicking on those links which you have sent to the email. Now, by knowing these things, what attacker can do, it can send the crafted mails with the trojans and spy mails, spyware softwares, and then it can send the phishing links to the recipient and see whether it is clicking those links or not. And some Trojan horses, some Trojans or some rat spy, when you click on those links, then those spywares get activated, and at that time attacker has to be ready to connect the system. So attacker is to be ready on that particular time when the other person, when the recipient of that email is clicking on that link or opening that attachment. Now some users have an habit to open or see the mails in a particular time. They are busy, so they don't see mail every time. So when they get the time, they will see the mails, check the emails and attachments and whatever. So hacker wants to know that exact time where they are doing this, so that it can send the malicious things to get access of that system. Now, collecting information from email header. We can collect the information about the recipient. We can check when the mail comes to you. You can check the mail is coming from where and the location. You can track those things by just checking the header of the email. Like for example, if you check the header, you can see, if you see closely, you can see those things. Like you can see the address from which the message was sent. Then you can see the sender's IP address also. You can see the sender's mail server, the mail server who is sending the mail for that user. Then you can see the date and time received by the originator's email server. You can see the authentication system used by sender mail server. You can see there. Then you can see the date and time of message sent. You can see a unique number assigned by a Google to deliver these messages, identify these messages. You can see the sender's full name. These all information you can see just into the email header. All these informations you can see only from the email header. Let me show you that email header first. So this is my email account. You just go to and go into the promotional things. Okay, now you just go to some email, like I'll go to this email, and here in this three dots, when you more options, you will get the option to see the original, show original. So when you click on this show original, it will open in the new tab, and it will show you the information about that mail, and it is showing the information about the from that header. It is showing here the message ID, created at, and deliver after 0 second. It is showing that it is coming from this email address, and it is coming, and it is for this email address. This is the subject, this is the SPF password, pass with this IP address, then this pass with domain this, then this is, you can see original here, you can download, and you can see the header here. And from this header actually it is getting these informations. These all information it is showing you from this header. So in Chrome you can do download the original, you can copy it to the clipboard, this one, this information here. You can see the delivered to option, you can see the IP address of the sender. You can see the mail server it was delivered to send. So all this information here you can find out. Now sometime it is difficult to find those information. So now you can see in Chrome it is showing you in the simplified way here. So this is what email header, and from here you can get some detailed information about the sender and receiver. Then you can use the email tracking tools. So there are some email tracking tools which you can use to track the email address. You can track where it is coming and where it is. You can get the map location also. Like for example, here there is a online tool which is called IPAddrs location.org. IP address location.org. In that, if you go there, this is online site. So when you go there, you have to copy the header of your email. So when you copy and paste your header there, and when you find it, it will show you the information about the mail, where it is coming from and what is it, the IP address, and even it will show you the location also. You can also use these tools like Email Tracker Pro. Now this is the graphical tool, desktop tool. So you can use it in Windows, and you can again paste, you have to paste your header, your mail header into that software, and it will show you the detail about the mail. For example, I will go to this site. So this is IP address location site where you can locate the IP addresses. It will show you your IP address right now here. Then what you will do here, when you go down to the home page, you have option. It will show that how it is showing your location here, your current location, depending on your IP address. Now you want to locate the email, then you have these options here. You have option to locate the IP, CIDR value, who is IP, and email lookup, or you can do trace email. So let's say if I want to trace the email, where it is coming from, and lookup means it will verify and look up email addresses. Now I want to see where the mail come from. So I will click on this trace email, and here I have to paste my header of the email which I want to track. So this is my email and I want to track this email. So I will do what? I will copy this header. I can copy it from here, and then I will paste it here. So I have pasted the header here, and then I will go down here and I will click on track email. Now it is going to track the email based on the header information. So in the header we have the IP addresses, email addresses, and all the informations are there. So this software will do what? It will find out for me. I don't have to look for each and everything manually. So what it is finded here, like this is saying this is the IP address, this is the country where it is coming, city address location is not able to find, this is attitude and latitude and longitude. It is the sender organization is WebWorks India Private Limited, the organization which has sent me this mail, and this is the location from where my email has come. I have received the email. This is the estimated location, and I can see it is somewhere around here in Maharashtra. It is not exact location, but it is somehow it is estimated location. So you will get the idea like how where the mail came from. And this is what the email header by email header analysis you can see here, delivered to, and this is the header which I pasted here. So just like this, you have we have other tools also which we can use to track the email addresses. So just like those tools, we have these other tools to track emails. We have read notify. Read notify do what? It will notify you when the mail is received and read. We have this also, did they read it? Trace the email by who is my IP address. We have this MSG tag. We have Zinbio. We have point of mail, super email market software, who read me, get notify. You can check all these to see whether the mails are. These are like some of them is to track the mail, and some of them is to see whether our mail is readed or not, and when it is got readed, like read notify. So let's check. Suppose you check read notify. Now this is what read notify. Now here what you have to create an account. You have to create an account. It is free for some extent. Then you have to pay. Now these services are not free. These services are not free. You have to pay, and they are giving you some point of trial, so you can use this, but then you have to pay. Now if you are having an account, then you can log in with your account here, and if you are not having an account, then you can sign up. Sign up is free, so first you have to sign up, and then you can do what? You can track your mail. You will send the mail from here with this tool, and when you send the mail with this tool, then you can track when the mail is read. So whenever the mail is read, then it will send you the notification that the mail is read. Now after creating an account, what you will do here, you can see here, compose your email just like you usually would in your own email or web email program. So just like in your web email, you are creating the email, you will do the same thing. And what you will do, you will type .readnotify.com on the end of your recipient email address. Don't worry, that gets removed before your recipient receive the email. And this link, and like this, like when you type the recipient email address that which you want to send the email, so at the end of that email you have to type .readnotify. Just like for like this is for example, you will like dregcn@yahoo.com. This is the email address. So at the end you will type .readnotify.com. So this email will be tracked by this read notify site. Now when the other person sees the mail and receives the mail and open the mail, you can see that here in this read notify. So paid subscriber can use our optional active track app to add the tracking. So they can use, if you are using it with the paid version, then you will get more options, and free version will not give you more options. So I have created the account. Then let's see, I will send the mail first, and we can see that here. So when you send the mail, you will add the .readnotify.com at the end of the recipient email address, or you can use the mail service here also. Like you can go to member utilities and you can go to quick email send. So you can send the email from here, which will be tracked. So you will do here, this is your email address which you are sending the email. Then you will type the recipient email address who you want to send the email. Then you will type the subject. It says in future remember to add this onto the end of the email. So when you type the email address, you have to type the read notify at the end. Now here it is adding it automatically because I am using the same site for the sending mail. Then subject, test mail, you want to see, you want to use CC or VCC, you can do that. Now options, you may select as many as options you would like to like for this mail. For example, you want to see the send certified email, you can send the self-destructed email that will be destructed after the reading. Then you can use the unsecured recipient, you can send a copy of this email to my own email box. Now I will do add some text here that this is test mail. Now I will send this mail. Now the mail is sent, and now we can track the mail. So for tracking the mail, you will go to member area and you will go to my account, and in my account you have first option to track the mail. Like for example, you will go to my account and you have personal tracking page. So when you go to this personal tracking page, you will see the mail which you have sent here. You can see here the mail I have sent this email to the mail to this email address, and this is the subject, and it is not yet opened. So nobody has seen that mail and nobody has opened the mail. Now it is the same, it is my own email address, so I will open the mail and I will see here what happened. So I have opened the mail, and now I can see here that the mail is read there. You can see it is already ticked now, and you can see the detail, read by one reader one time. So the mail is received and we can see when it was received. We can see here that it is showing here, when I hovering the mouse there, it says read by one reader one time, and last activity was 13 April 2021 17:15, first open on this date and this time. So you can see when it is open. Now this is what only free you will get this, but if you have the paid account, then you can do more on this. So you can do more on this. Right now you can only see the date and time when it was received. So this is just a one site, this is just a one tool, read notify. We have many other tools just like this. We have these other tools to do this. Now some of the tools are not free, or some of the tools will give you some trial. So you can check those tools to track your email addresses or track the emails where they come from, and when you send the mail, then you can track when they got read and when they get opened, whether they sees the attachment or they don't see the attachment. Sometimes we send the mail, someone, that person is not watching clicking on those links which we save, which they are not interested on those links, they are not watching the attachments. So we can see that how and which attack we can do on them, so we can make sure that attack we can be successful with them. Next is competitive intelligence gathering. This competitive intelligence gathering is the process of identifying and gathering, analyzing, verifying and using the information about your competitors from resources such as the internet. This competitive intelligence is non-interfering and subtle in nature. So it is not interfering with anyone, it is just subtle in nature. And this is what competitive intelligence gathering. Now these organizations do this competitive intelligence gathering. They try to get the information about their competitive company or competitive organizations so that they can keep ahead of them. This is not just a hacking thing, this is to upgrade yourself also. So what they do, they try to source, these are the sources of competitive intelligence. So they try to get these informations from company websites and employment ads, so that they can get the idea that what are the companies up to. Sometimes mistakenly they do send some information on websites that they are planning to do this thing, then they suppose if it is mistakenly or it is not supposed to do that, then they will remove it from quickly. So for that, the competitive intelligence gatherers do what they continuously watch the websites of those companies or target companies. They can get the information from search engines, internet and online databases, press releases and annual reports. What are these companies are up to, what they are making new, what projects are they are working on. Then trade journals, conference and newspapers, patent and trademarks. Are they taking some patent, new patent or trademarks? Then social engineering employees. They can do what social engineering on employees of the target organization. So the employees who is working there, they can use the social engineering to get the information about those employees, from those employees about the organizations. Then product catalogs and retail outlets, analyst and regulatory reports, customer vendor interviews, agent distributors and suppliers also. They can also give you important information. So by getting this information, they can plan their own organizations, like what they want to do. This competitive intelligence, when did this company begins, how did it develop, and what these other informations, like when did it begins, how did it develop, who leads it, where is it located. These are the informations they are looking for. They can get these information from these database sites like Edgar, Hoover's, LexisNexis, Business Wire. So these sites, these are actually business sites and these other sites. So from these sites, they can get the information about the other company. So they can keep ahead of those companies also. And what are the company's plan? These competitive intelligence sites will show you some hint of those things, that what is the company's future plans. These are business sites like Market Watch, Wall Street Transcript, Liber Marketplace, Aero Monitor, Fagen Finder, Sec Info, the Search Monitor. So just like these, you will also have these different business sites and business news sites on your location, in your country or in your state. So you can watch them to see the local informations also. Then we can monitor the website traffic of target company also. We can monitor the traffic. That means attacker uses the website traffic monitoring tools such as this WebState, Alexa and Monitis, etc. to collect the information about the target company, what that total visitors, then page views, how many pages are views, how many the visitors are there to that site, what is the bounce rate, live visitor map, site ranking, audience geography, like where these audience are coming from. This traffic monitoring helps to collect information about the target's customer base, which help the attacker to distinguish as a customer and launch his social engineering attack on the target. So when it comes to social engineering, when the attacker try to impersonate as a customer, so it can do what? It can get this data to know that where the customers are coming and what is the behavior of those customers. So it can easily impersonate like the customers of this target company, and it can do the social engineering attack on that target. And social engineering attack is the very, very lethal attack. You don't know, you cannot even understand that exactly it is a social engineering attack or something else. It is very, very harmful. So it is also a successful attack. So this will help to do the social engineering attack. So there are different tools to do this. You have WebState, you have Alexa site where you can go and check the information about the target company. Like for example, we'll go to Alexa site. Now this is what the Alexa site. We can go here and you can go to tools. These are free tools available and these are premium tools which you can use. Premium tools will give you more features and this will not come free, so you have to purchase it. These are free. Like you can go for website traffic statistic. I want to go to website traffic statistic. I can go to find similar sites also. I can go to see the top sites, popular articles by topics, and Alexa browse extension also for the browsers. But I want to see the traffic only, so I'll go to this free tool. Now here I will put the site name, entire site, or only the domain name. So for example, I want to see the information about facebook.com. And then you can see the whole statistic here. Keyword opportunities breakdown, you can see optimization opportunities, keyword gaps, easy to rank, buyer keywords. These are keyword opportunities breakdown. Then here comparison metrics. This site and company are the compared to comparatively other sites average. What is this site average and what is the other site's average comparatively. Bounce rate, this is for this site and this is for the other sites. Percentage of visit to the site that consists of a single page view, like only single page view, other don't see the other page. These are the similar sites by audience overlap. That means audience which sees these sites, they also came from these different sites. So you have these other information, rank and all these informations. You have easy to rank keyword, you have keyword gaps, you have buyer's keyword, optimize opportunities, traffic source, the traffic of the source which is coming from these searches, these socials. Now this is what not free, so we are not able to go there. You see the lock here, that means this is premium service. Referral sites, these are the referral sites. Audience overlaps, you can see it is coming from where. Top keywords. So you can see there are some options are available and some options are not free, or you can go for trial version. So you can go for trial, it will give you some time of the trial. So within the trial period we can do our job and then we can close the account. So we can even use the trial version. It is also showing the audience geography, where it is coming mostly, which percentage. This percentage is from US, this percentage from India, Japan, others it is not showing. This is the site metrics, site flow. So it shows almost lots of things, and lots of things are not free. For that you have to create an account, at least you have to start the trial version. So just like this, we have other tools also to find out the statistic of the company. Now next methodology is doing the footprinting using Google hacking techniques. Now Google hacking means we can use Google to extract some deep information or detailed information, or the information mostly sometimes they don't want to show us, like query strings. We can use the different type of query string, and this Google hacking refers to creating search queries to extract sensitive or hidden information. We can do that by using the different query strings. We can use this query string to get vulnerable targets. It helps attacker to find the vulnerable targets also. These Google operators, we can do this by using the Google operators. It uses Google operators to locate specific strings of text within the search result. We can do that by using the Google operator. So Google search engine supports these Google operators to do the detailed and advanced search. Now with the advanced search we can do this to find the vulnerable target, and we can find some hidden informations and sensitive informations also. So attacker gather, what a attacker can do with Google hacking? So attacker can gather advisories and server vulnerabilities. It can get the vulnerabilities of the server, it can get the error messages that contain sensitive information. It can get the files containing passwords also. It can get the sensitive directories. It can get the pages containing login portals. It can get the pages containing network or vulnerability data. These are all you can get by using the Google hacking method. Now how you will do that? You will use the Google advanced search operators. Google supports several advanced search operators that help in modifying the search, like this operator cache. You can mention this as a cache colon in bracket, and that displays the web pages stored in the Google cache. So it will show you the pages within the cache, and that after this you will mention the search which you want to search. You can go for a specific link with this operator. It will list web pages that have links to the specific web page. Then you can go with this operator, this list web pages that are similar to a specified web page. Info will present some information that Google has about a particular web page. Cite restrict the result to those websites in the given domain. Then in title, this all in title, restrict the result to those websites that all of the search keyword in the title. Then in title, this restrict the result to the documents containing the search keyword in the title. In URL, restrict the result to those with all the search keywords in the URL. In URL, restrict the result to document containing the search keyword in the URL. So these are the operators and which we can use to craft the query. Like for example this, in title colon, I want to get intranet in the in title. That means whatever the page I am searching, in that page I want to get in title intranet in the title. Then in URL I also want intranet, plus in text I want human resources. Now if I put this query in the Google, so this combines of the Google advanced search operators allow you to access the target company's private network and collect sensitive information such as employees list, employees listing, key context details, etc. that can be incredibly useful for any social engineering and handovers. So we can use this advanced search, and we can use this by using the advanced search operators. This is to find the suppose human resources pages which has the intranet written on the URL and title. Now intranet means within the network. Internet is the outside network, intranet is your within network. So you can find some results. Now by doing the trial and error base, you can find some interesting information. It will not show you the all information like exact what you are looking for. Google will show you something like, it will show you what is human resources sometime. It will show you like what is intranet, what is URL, and what is that kind of thing. So it may show you some of those results also, but you have to find out some interesting result with the all result it shows. Now everybody is not that smart to create the advanced search with the operators. So what we can do here, we can use the Google hacking database. Now in this Google hacking database, we have some hackers or some different hackers did what, they have tried these operators and they have find some interesting things. So when they find this interesting thing, so when they find some interesting thing with that search, so they do what, they upload those information into this Google hacking database. Now from there we can do what, we can see also those search, and we can get some experience about this Google hacking and how to use those advanced operators. So this Google hacking database is an authoritative source for querying the ever widening search reach of the Google search engine, and this exploit database is a common vulnerabilities and exposure CVE, that is compliant archive of public exploits and corresponding vulnerable software. So it is a public exploit and corresponding vulnerable softwares whatever we have. So these queries are already done. They have run the queries. We can use these queries again, and we can get experience about how you can do the query, how you can use these operators. So if you want to see the Google hacking database, you have this site which is exploitdb.com. Let's see that. So this is the site. It is exploit-db, exploit-db, where you can get the Google hacking database also. You can see here some of the vulnerabilities available in some applications. These are known vulnerabilities. They have found these vulnerabilities. This is the date where these vulnerabilities have been found, and what is the type of the vulnerability, what is the platform. It is for multiple platform. These are for Unix, these are for Linux, and who is the author of the vulnerability. So basically this exploit database is having lots of different vulnerabilities information here. And also we have GHDB, that is Google hacking database. And in this Google hacking database we have different Google Docs. We can say it is called doc. We have these queries which is run on these current date, like this one on 9th of April, and the query was in URL index.html in title Unitronics PLC. This is the query which has run by this author, and what it do, it various online devices. You can get the access of various online devices. If you want to see what it is exactly, you can open it here. So this is the query, and this is the ID of this, and this is the author, the date of the publish, and this is the search. Now what you get here, so if you want to see what you get here, so you can run this query by yourself also. It says Google search, so you will run this query. It shows these results. Now you see these are the results. It is related to Unitronics, and these are the different IP addresses. To get the online devices, so let's see, I will open one link. So just like that we have other also. We have this is what various online devices. Now this query will show you pages containing login portals. This query will give you the pages containing login portal. These are various online devices. Web server detection, this query is for web server detection. Now these are the queries which has already done by someone. Now if you want, then you can also do search here. So if you're interested with some organizations and maybe somebody has already done that, then you can do find it here, or you can do filter here. This is the statistics. And with this, search the exploit database, you can find yourself in detail. There is some vulnerabilities related to this platform, this software, or these organizations. So you can search in the Google hacking database that whether there is any problem there or not, or any vulnerabilities related to that application there or not. You can find out this by using this advanced search option of the Google exploit database. Otherwise you can just go through with this and find the vulnerabilities. What did I find here? Nothing. It is not connecting. So we can go to other links. Now by using trial and error base, you can find some interesting things. So these are some queries. This will get you VoIP, voice over IP, and VPN footprinting through Google hacking database. So these are some searches you can use. Google search queries for VoIP footprinting. You can use these like in title, login page, in text, phone adapter configuration utility. This will show you pages containing login portals. Then you can run this in URL voice advanced, in title Linksys SPA configuration. This will find the Linksys VoIP router configuration pages. In title D-Link VoIP router welcome pages containing D-Link login portals. So you can get these queries, you can run to get the VoIP devices information. You can run these queries to get the VPN information like file type PCF, Cisco, group PWD. This will give you Cisco VPN files with group passwords for remote access. Let's try this one. So I'm giving here file type is equal to PCF, then I want Cisco also, and also I want group PWD. So it is showing some pages here. Now it is showing something here. You can see some group passwords are also showing here. Group name is remote users. This is the description. This is example Cisco config profile for the host 127 authentication type. This is password for those, and this is the user group users. For remote user, username is remote underscore user. The password is user underscore password. So these are some information you are getting for some device, Cisco device. Fresh open source software archive. So just like this, you can get some interesting information. Now this is what trial and error. You have to design the queries like this with using the advanced options, advanced operators, and then maybe you will find some interesting information there. So again we are finding some password files here. So just like this, we can find something interesting, we can query, we can add the company name here, which company your target company is there. So you can add the target company's name there to go do these different search to get the information or some sensitive information, hidden information from the target organization. Then finding company's top level domains and sub level domains. Now this will help you to, when you find the top level domain and sub level domain, then it will help you to understand the architecture of the organization. What is the domain architecture of the organization? This search for the target company's external URL in a search engine such as Google or Bing. That will show you the external URL, that means the URL which you can get it from public sources. Subdomains provide an insight into different department and business units in an organization. So by getting the subdomain, you will get the information about the departments which they have. So departments which they have in their organization, like sale department, then you will see marketing department, business department, whatever, analysis department. So you will get to know by the subdomains of those organizations. In a domain environment, you will create the different domain for different departments. So when you get the subdomains, then you can get the idea of the different departments of the organizations. So you may find a company's subdomains by trial and error method or using a service such as Netcraft. You can see this by using the Netcraft site. You can go to this netcraft.com and you can find that subdomains of particular company. For example, now this is what netcraft.com. Here we can do what? We can do lots of other things. Right now I want to find the subdomains. So we have the resources tools here. Under the resources, under the tools, we have these different tools. I will go for search DNS. So when you go for subdomains, you can see the search DNS. So under the DNS, you will find a different name of the subdomains. Now I will say site contain. I will give the name which I want to get the information. Let's say I want to get the information for tesla.com. Now what it is showing here, these are the different sites of this. You can see tesla dot you can see here tesla.com. Then you have auth.tesla, shop.tesla, we have forums.tesla, ir.tesla, livestream.tesla, feedback, MFA, and tesla.com. Then we have tesla tequila.com, partners, SSO, only used tesla, RPM, shop. We have different this. Then we can get that some idea of these internal domains. We can get the idea of what are the different departments they have. So you can go and find for the others. Let's say I will find Microsoft. These are Microsoft, different sites, terms, docs, supports, admin, answer. You can see these different teams, docs, supports, admin, answers, account, social techniques, Azure, tech community, endpoint, my accounts, social MSDN, my sign-ins, dev blogs, my applications. So these are the different subdomains, and by knowing these subdomains, we can guess what are the different departments available. What are the different departments are there in the organization. We can also use this script. You can use this sublist 3R Python script that enumerates the subdomains across multiple sources at once. So we can use this script also. Now this script is the command line script, and this will work on Linux system. Now Linux system, that means we can use it on Kali. We can use this on Kali. So let's see, I will go for Kali Linux now. Now this is our Kali Linux. I will go to the CMD command terminal. Now it has almost lots of different tools available already installed in this Kali Linux. We can have lots of different tools available here. When you go to applications, you have lots of different tools there which is already installed. So let's check, did we have this sublist 3R? It is not there. Now that means this script, this tool is not installed. So if suppose some tool is not installed, then we can install it in Kali, and we can do it very easily. Now for installing something, you have to be a root, you have to get the administrator privilege. So for getting the administrator privilege, we have to run the command by using the sudo command. So whatever we want to run, we have to run by sudo command. Then to install the application through internet, any tool you want to install, you have to connect it the internet, and then you can do what? You can run apt-get command, apt-get, and then you will mention the tool name, like I want to get sublist 3R. I want to get this application, this tool. So let's see if it is available on internet, then it will install, download and install automatically. It is asking the password for me, this user. Okay, this is sudo. Oh, sorry, miss command. Sudo apt get, then I have to tell that I want to install, and then you will mention the tool name, sublist 3R. So what it did here, reading the package, okay, it is getting installed now, and it is downloading it and it is installing it. Now it is installed. So when you are not having any tool, then you can use this command, and you have to use sudo with this command. You have to use this command with sudo because you are not logged in as a administrator root. So apt-get install, and then whatever the tool you want to install. Now if it is available on internet, then it will download and install it. Now I will check. I will give command sublist 3R, and I will give -h for help. Now it is showing the help, that means the tool is already installed. This H is for help. Now if we want to run this against any domain, then we will do this by using this command with the D option, and then after that you will mention the domain name, then you can mention the port name, port number, which port you want to do the enumeration, and then you will mention the search engine with which search engine help you want to do this search, and even you can do save the output on some file, so that you can after doing this you can do check this what is the output. So let's say I will do this. So D, and domain, let's say I will go for Tesla, and then I will mention the port number, port number 80, then I will mention -E for the search engine. So I want to get this from Google, and I will not save it on any file, so I will run it directly here. Now it is searching now in Google for the records of this domain. It will take a little time. Now it will take a little time, but now it is not showing anything. Now what I will do here, I will use brute force. I will use -B option now. Now -B means what? It will enable the brute forcing. This enable the sub brute and brute force module. So it will do what? It will try to get the all possibilities. So what I will do here, with all of these options, again I will use this -B option to do the brute force. Now again it will take a little time, and let's see what it shows. So first it goes by the normal way, then it is starting the brute force module. Now it is using the sub brute. So it is taking time. So it is taking time. So we'll go ahead with the slides and we'll come back to see the result. So this is to get the top level and sub level domains. There are other tools also available to do this. Google hacking. So these are some other tools to do the Google hacking thing. Then we'll go for Whois lookup. Now this Whois database are maintained by regional internet registers and contain the personal information of domain owners. So when you get the domain, when you purchase the domain, when you get the lease line, when you get the IP, public IP addresses. So you are registered in the regional internet registries. So you are registered that with your all information. So whois query returns domain name details, contact details of domain owner, domain name servers, net range, when a domain has been created, expiry records and records last updated. So from there you can get some interesting details. You can get the contact details of important persons like who is the responsible person here for the domain. And then again you can do some social engineering task on those contact persons. You can information obtained from whois database assist an attacker to do create detailed map of organizational network, gather personal information that assist to perform social engineering, gather other internal network details, etc. We can get the regional internet register RIRS like these, these are the regional registers for the IP. So when you get any public IPs, so they are registered within these different IPs, these different registers for Africa, for America, for Asia Pacific, for Europe and Latin America. So by doing those whois lookup, you will get the result like this. You will get the result like this for your IP whois lookup and for your domain whois lookup. And from that you will get the information about the, you can get the detailed information about them. And also you will get the specific range of IP addresses they are having. We can use this graphical tool Smart Whois to do this lookup. This Smart Whois is a useful network information utility that allows you to look up all the available information about an IP address, host name or a domain. It also provides information about country, state or provision, city, name of the network provider, administrator and technical support contact informations. So you can do directly on online sources or you can use this graphical tool to do this also. Now you are having these different online tools to do these lookups. Like you have Smart Whois, you have tools .whois.net, you have these DNS stuff, you have whois.sc. We have many other different sources where we can do the things. Like for example, if I ping www dot, let's say ril.com or let's say facebook.com. Now what I will get is the IP address of that particular .com. So when I ping this Facebook site, what I get is the IP address of that site. Now this IP says this Facebook site or Facebook domain is having this range. What class of this range is A? That means class A means what? This first part is only the network and the other part is the host part. Now you know what? How many IP addresses you are having in the single range of class A? It is too many. It is IP you are having this number like 16777, then 214. So it is like something like this. It is very big range. So if suppose this Facebook site or Facebook organization domain, they are having this range of class A network, that is 31, that means they have all the IP addresses for them. So whether they are having all the IP addresses, that means they are having the whole range. Now it could be a very big range to attack. Remember, it is very big range to attack. Maybe they are not owning the whole range. Maybe they are not owning the whole range. Maybe they are having only one or two IP, but I don't know that. I don't know exactly that this facebook.com or this organization has the exact range IP addresses, exact public range IP addresses they are having. I don't know that. So I can get this information by doing the whois lookup. So I can get this information that exactly what range of IP addresses they are having, so that my scope of attack will be reduced. I don't have to attack the whole range. I have to attack the only range which they have. I can do get this by using this IP address. I can copy this IP address, and what I will do, I will use it in the browser in the whois search. For that, I will go to the browser. I will go to the INA organization, ina.org. This is the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. Here I will go to number resources, where I will find the different registers here. These are the different regional registers where your public IPs will be registered. So this is the Facebook. So Facebook maybe is registered on America. So I will go to this register. I will open this register. Now this register will have the information from Canada, US and some other Caribbean islands. So let's check this register here. Now here you have the search for the whois. You have the whois search option. Now here you will do what? You will paste that IP which you get from the pinging. So this is the IP we get when I ping the facebook.com. Now I just want to know the whole range, whether they are having the whole range or not. So what I will do, I will search this IP. Now what I am getting here, that this is the source register, this is the net range, and this is for the Facebook. Now what is the range? You can see here it is not having the whole range, the whole class A 31 range. They are having only the IP addresses from 31.13.64.0 to 31.13.127.255. So it is not the whole range they are having. They are having a specific range there. So the specific range they have. So I don't have to attack the whole range of this class A. My attack is now, my surface, my attack range is reduced, and now I know exact range what they have. So I don't have to attack on the whole range because I know the exact range. This is registered by the name of Facebook. This is the parent zone. This is net type allocated. This is last change. It is showing the last change date, and this is copyright to this, what whois, and then the other informations also you can see here. It is not showing those informations here. Now here you can see the information about the email address. You can also see the address of this organization, registered address for this domain, this IP address range. Technical person, you can see this. Who is the technical person? It is the individual. The name of that person is Peter Hose, and this is the email address of that person. This is the telephone number of that person. This is the address and last change date. So you can see these detailed information about that person, which you can use. So when they registered these things, they give this information to the registrar. One more entry is this, and it is also okay, it is not finding there. So you can see what you want to get. You can just type the IP address there and you will get what you want, the exact range on that. Then you can get the domain information also. So there is a tool is called domaintools.com, where you can do the whois search for the domain. So if you go to the domain tools site, domain tools you have here. Whois lookup, where you can do the Whois search for the domain, and it will show you this type of information, and actually it will show you the detailed information. So here in the search you will type the domain name. For example, I will go for microsoft.com. Okay, this is showing the blogs related to that, and you have to go to Whois search. Where is the Whois search? I am on the wrong site. Not the site, I am on the wrong site. You have to go to Whois. Okay, this is the wrong site. It is www. Actually you have to go to whois.domaintools.com, and that was the same organization, but that is the different site. So this is Whois. You have to give whois.domaintools.com. Now here you have option to do Whois search. So you will type here whatever the domain you want to find. Okay, this is just to validate you are not a robot. And now you can see the detailed information here. It is showing that the registrant, domain administrator, registered organization is Microsoft company, registered country is US. Then it is showing here registrar of this domain. So this is the registrar, Mark Monitoring Company. It is the INR ID is this, URL is this, Whois server is this, and this is the email address for that company who is registered this domain. Registered status is this. Then dates of the registration, it is this days old, created on this date, expires on this date, and last updated on this date. Then you can see the name servers also. The name servers which is also having different other domains also. These are the other different domains which is holded by this DNS servers. Then this is the tech detail, MSN, Hotmaster, Microsoft Corporation, One Microsoft Way. This is the address and telephone numbers. This is the IP address, and 17 other sites hosted on the same server. Then IP location it is showing, ASN number it is showing, domain status it is showing that is active, IP history it is showing. Then it is showing the registered history also, that hosting history, 3 changes on 4 unique name servers over 1 year. This is the website, this is the official website. You can visit the website and you can see these changes history also which has happened. Then it is showing this response code is 200, terms is this, images is this, then links are these number of links. What is the history? This is the history of that. And this is in detail. it is showing these informations here by getting this from here. So these are the detailed information like domain name, registered name, domain ID, who is server. This is the who is server information. Then contact detail about the who is server. Then here it is showing the domain administrator information. The registered name is domain administrator, Microsoft Corporation, one Microsoft Way, city and state and postal code, country, phone number, email address, domain admin information it is also showing here, email address, phone number, technical ID also it is showing here, detail, DNS servers information is showing here. So this is where you will get the detailed information about the domain. Now here you will get the important contact details and all that. Contact details, email addresses, phone numbers, locations. You can get those information from here. So by doing this whois lookup, you will get some information about the domain and information about the important persons, contact details, email addresses. You will get the exact range also. Then extracting DNS information. Extracting DNS information, this attacker can gather the DNS information to determine key hosts in the network and can perform social engineering tasks. So it also get the information from the DNS. So it will know that what are the important hosts are there. Now before that you should know what is DNS. DNS is the name resolution protocol which do what? Resolve the name from name to IP, because every connections happens on IP and we use name to get the simple, we get easily access. So we remember the name, we can't remember the IP addresses, so we use the DNS to resolve the name. Now in the DNS we have different zones, forward lookup zone, reverse lookup zone, and those zones, forward lookup zone has name to IP information, reverse lookup zone has IP to name information, and in those two zones we are having these different records. We have host A record which has name to IP information, then MX record has the mail server information like who is the mail server, what is the IP address. NS will show you all the name servers there in the domain. C name is the canonical names, it is called aliases. SOA is the authority, indicate the authority for the domain. SRV is the services records, that which server has which services. Then PTR is the reverse record of IP, like maps IP address to host name. RP is the responsible person record, that which is the responsible person for the DNS. H info, this host information record includes the CPU types and OS also. Nowadays we are not able to see this. Then TXT record, unstructured text records also will be there. So by doing the DNS query we can get the information about the important hosts also, so that we can do some attacks on them. Now we can do this by using this online query, online tool, which is www.dnsqueries.com. Here you can do this by using this, or you can do it manually by using the simple command prompt and NS lookup also. So if you want to do it with the online tool, then you can do this to go to the online tool. So this is the online site where you can do this DNS queries. We can check the domain. These are the other tools also we can use, like you can check the domain health, you can check the neighbors IP, you can check the reverse DNS lookup, you can check the RBLs. So you can do check other options also, and in that other option you can perform the DNS queries. You can perform the DNS queries, and there is other informations also there. So you can do lots of other things, like for example I want to do the DNS query, so I will go to DNS query here and I will put the host name here, like for example www microsoft.com. Now what type of records you want to find? You have all these options here. Like I want to see A records, and now it is showing this A records there. With this IP, this is the A record and this is the name. I want to see other records, like I want to see NS name servers. Okay, it is not finding the name servers. I want to see MX records. It is also not finding. Let's check the facebook.com whether it is finding it. No. Name servers. No. No. Now you can do this by using the command prompt also. There are other tools also there in this site, so you can try those other tools also. Now instead of doing this, we can do what? We can do it on our CMD also. So in our CMD, we can run NS lookup. Now this is my DNS server. If I want to get, by default it show you the reverse A records, all the A records. Like if suppose I say www.facebook.com, so it shows the A records and it is non-authoritative answer. Now if I want to get some other records, I will say type I will get help, and we can say what other records we can be. Like suppose you want to get some other record, so you will say type and then you will say what record you want to get. So for example, I want to get NS records. Then I will get facebook.com. I will say I want to say NS record for this facebook.com. Sorry, I have to type it like this, NS. Oh sorry, I am not giving the whole command. It is actually set type is equal to NS, and now I will mention which domain, and you can see it is showing the DNS servers, name servers of that facebook.com. It is showing that these are the DNS servers and these are the IP addresses of those DNS servers of Facebook. So we can do it by using the normal NS lookup. If I want to check, for example, set type MX record mail servers. Oh sorry, set type MX, and then when I give the domain name, it will show me the MX records also. This is the MX record and this is the mail server of Facebook. So we can just type the set type, we can mention the type, which type of record we want to get, and then we will mention the domain name to get the type, get the records. Like if I want to get SOA for this domain, so it will show me that this is the facebook.com and this is the primary name server and this is the SOA of that Facebook, and this is also, it is also showing responsible person's email address. So this SO record is also showing the responsible person's email address, and it is also showing interesting information like serial number, what is the refresh rate, what is the retry, what is the expiry rate, and default TTL also. And also it is showing the DNS server's name and IPs also. So you can do this by using the NSLOOKUP, normal NSLOOKUP queries also. You don't have to go to these internet services. So these internet sites are also doing the same thing, which we can do it by using the normal NSLOOKUP. Now you have other tools also to do the same thing, to do this DNS query. We have dig. Dig is this dig works on this dig is same as the NSLOOKUP, but this works only on Linux machines. We have DNS NSLOOKUP tool. We have different other tools to do this.